Pearlie was also stuck on the inner temple side that night. The next morning she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godo arrived at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up.
Who's this Pearlie?
My little cousin, Pearl Fay.
Where'd you hear about this?
Just a while ago when I was in the medical office.
I'm terribly sorry, but what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony.
What? Come on! Pearlie would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be.
Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath. The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness. Mr. Godo? Let's just move on to the cross-examination, if the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual, but, well, Mr. Wright...
Let's get the cross-examination started. So where do you think Pearl slept that night? In the spread prep room next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that says you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training.
But even so, why'd you go to the inner temple in the first place?
It seems Pearls became very worried about Maya. She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense. Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the inner temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, posing the body of Elise Doonim. She searched the entire inner temple side to end to end. Well, you see, Pearlie gets pretty scared when she's alone, and there weren't that many places to look. She says she even went back and forth several times. The inner temple side had two structures, the training hall and a spare prep room. There was also a storage shack, I think. That's about it. There was a storage shack too. Pearl was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined a storage shack all that carefully? Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I would investigate.
So that means it's possible someone may have been hiding in a storage shack.
Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge? What do you mean? I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait by the foot of the bridge. Well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night, she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times.
Poor little girl all alone like that. Well, we know she at least had one friend in the sacred cavern. Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with the trick lock.
She couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls.
What happened after the bridge was fixed?
So it was your first time at the inner temple side, Mr. Godo?
That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question? Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness.
What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor.
Touche, Mr. Wright. Oh well, what do you have to say, Mr. Godo? Hot nights and even hotter coffee, that's what I always say. If it hadn't been for this case, I would never have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains. I think I'll pass.
So you never visited the Hazakura temple or Inner temple, huh?
You want to say something trite?
In any case, I have to find a crack in Godo's armour. While I cross-examine Maya, that is.
Very well, please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policeman came over to the temple side, right?
Yes, the Mr. Godo found Pearlie first and cheered her right up. He cheered her up? That's what Pearlie said. She said it was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godo.
And then I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. Cut it out. You're making me blush.
This guy's really beginning to get on my tits. In more ways than one.
Truth is, there aren't that many places to look on the inner temple side. The policemen are all busy going over the garden with a fine-tooth comb, so I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way, Godo style. I'm the same way. I like to hand down verdicts in my own way, judge style.
Maybe I should ask some questions Phoenix style. So you cheered Pearls up?
When I found the little girl, the first thing she asked was about her cousin Maya Fay.
Really?
The bridge had burned down. She was huddled up in a tiny shack with no heaps. Even though she must have had a truly terrifying night out there, she asked about you before she said a thing about herself.
Pearlie?
I noticed you weren't anywhere on the inner temple side, but I couldn't find in me to tell her that. I gave her my last cup. With milk and sugar, to hide the bitterness of the harsh truth. What a sweet story.
He had a thermos of coffee. Why doesn't that surprise me? There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godo when the murder was taking place? He must have already been at the inner temple when it happened. Otherwise he couldn't have killed Elise Doonim. You said you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything?
It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, trite. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern.
What I didn't miss is to speak for yourself, Goggles.
The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall.
Beauty?
Misty Fay, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes.
Western tastes? Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy?
So from there you headed for the prep room?
Wait a second, what did Godo say just now? I think I just found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godo when the murder was taking place? How the fuck is this supposed to... There we go. That's what I thought. Mr. Godo, the first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went to the inner temple was long before the murder took place. Why do you say that? Because you just made a fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall.
Hanging scroll?
But Mr. Godo's right. The scroll shows a picture of my mother. Maya, I know you know who it is, but there's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired 2 days after the murder, the hanging score in the training hall looked like this.
What's that wonderfully delicious smell?
The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. Gravy? But why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godo, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Fay. Hold it, wait a minute, Nick. Yes? Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look at the top. There's a crest there. Oh, that's the mark of the master, correct? Exactly, so if you know the meaning of the mark...
You could guess there was a picture of Misty Fay on there.
True, but Mr. Godo described what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Oh. Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godo, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the inner temple long before the crime took place.
Can I ask you just one little thing, Trite?
What is it?
This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand a crime was going to be committed.
That's right. Otherwise there's no reason for him to sneak onto the crime scene. Of course Mr. Godo knew about the plan. Huh?
What did you say? Is it really possible another person knew of the plan?
Shit.
Mr. Wright, at this stage of the game, a mere guess is simply unacceptable. So in the end, you were just bluffing, huh?
Ow.
Don't expect any sympathy cards from me, Trite.
Opened once before. I wonder. Ah! The crime was planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere in Fay Manor for a year. However, by the time Little Pearls found these instructions, they'd already been unsealed.
Unsealed?
Yes, the killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how he knew the crime was to take place at the inner temple. And you still insist this crafty killer is me? You bet I do. But you just said the instructions were hidden. That's right. Mr. Godo couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden. If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out.
And when was that?
During a visit. A visit? Morgan Fay told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention centre, that would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden.
Eavesdropping on a visit to the detention centre?
Yes, it could be arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor, such as Mr. Godo.
Order! 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 Mr. Godo, you're under fire again!
This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge, and you were the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder.
Humans are afraid of the dark, and
yet at the same time we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee. Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid in the inner temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took the person's life. And did it all just to protect this witness? That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl's nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. I am what you see. I'm certainly not the type of the rescue the damsel in distress. The killer's behaviour is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect this witness's life, his behaviour is still a little too unnatural. However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godo? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs. I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick? Maya, I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godo. For the same reason, huh? Okay, Trite, I'm all ears, let's hear it. It's very simple. My Faye's a lot more than a stranger to you. What's this? There's one person who lies at the very centre of this whole story. One person that ties my Faye and you together inextricably. There's a very good reason why Maya's Faye life was so precious to you. After all, she's Mia Faye's only sister. Mia Faye. You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defence attorney. Wait a second here. Mr. Godo is a defence attorney? With your honest, piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godo. His real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right? The last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago. Diego Armando, the name rings a bell. It should, Your Honour. All of this is related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Faye's first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off the disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando, a senior defence attorney who worked the office that Mia worked. It's my fault. It's all my fault Mr. Falls killed himself. Mia, you can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her clients, that pure, sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnap incident. Then one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria. Oh, I just remembered, 6 years ago, right here in this courthouse, you were poisoned. Even I didn't see it coming.
Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. Some newspapers at the time called it a murder. Very little information about the case was released to the press. But you weren't dead at all. No official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep, deep coma. I see. My body shut down and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poison did a real number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight, and my hair turned white due to the damage it caused.
That's terrible.
Apparently it was a miracle I ever regained consciousness. 5 years have passed since I drank that poisoned brew. Then one morning my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. 5 years? You were asleep for 5 years? And the worst possible news was waiting for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I'd already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered, and the woman I loathed had been sentenced to death. The woman you loathed? The woman who spiked my scalding hot coffee, Dahlia Hawthorne. Ah, good old Mia. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up.
That's so sad.
For someone like me, for someone who'd slept away their best days, there was only 2 reasons left to live. It was for those 2 reasons I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live? The first was you, Trite. Huh?
Me?
If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her, but you let her die. That was all your fault.
It wasn't like that.
I wanted to see for myself what kind of man you really were. So that's why you became a prosecutor? My other reason for living goes by the name of Maya Fey.
You mean me?
You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Crane Village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her.
That's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan's at the detention centre.
I knew the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep the girl from being caught up in it.
Makes sense. If Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she'd have never helped out.
Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both my accomplices. Accomplices? Iris of Hazakura Temple and Misty Fey. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Fey.
But how'd you contact my mother? She'd been missing for almost 20 years.
Officially, yes.
What? What do you mean officially?
You heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government?
Now you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said the Master of Crane had great authority.
Even without her official position, Misty Fey still wielded great influence. The police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor.
So my mother was cooperating with you?
Don't ever forget. No matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you.
She was always... That's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, look at her staff.
The one with the sword in it?
The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then, how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fay if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price. That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan. You mean pearls, don't you? We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne. Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight? Well, if you like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we can read some books together. We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan, but she never showed up. She was worried and followed me to the inner temple. That was the thing we were most afraid of, and that's why Misty Fay had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body.
What? What do you mean?
If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearls couldn't be able to do it herself. As Master of Karain, Misty Fay's power was supreme. So that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Fay wouldn't be able to.
What? Is this true?
My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Fay. That's why I hid myself at the inner temple, in case you needed to be safe from Dahlia Hawthorne. Godo. Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to, trite. Huh? There's no doubt about it, you're a great defense attorney, but you're going to have to do the rest yourself.
The background leading up to this incident's been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There's two possible suspects right now. Maya Fay, and I'm sad to say you, Mr. Godo.
Well, trite. If you're the real deal, finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt you can finish this on your own. No, Nick, please don't. Maya, I heard the whole thing from my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godo. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia and me too. Maya, I know that. Nick. But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify.
Miss Fay, your testimony, please.
This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because you know I'll know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips. I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick.
All right, young lady. Tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder?
Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights, 3 of them. I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness.
These red lights. I thought you said you don't remember seeing them.
I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden.
Things break trite, even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Fey? It looks like you still can't prove it.
My saying the truth this time, I know it. The rest is up to me.
Well then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your final cross-examination of the witness.
Light shining in the dark. I don't think you can make a mistake about that. Yeah, you're right. I think I saw them, but I can't say for certain. And I can't tell you for sure if they were for Mr. Godo's mask either. I don't get the feeling she's coming for him anymore, but... Just after that you turned towards the lights and called for help. Isn't that because you thought the lights were coming from Godo's mask? Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's what I was thinking at the time, but I can't remember. After all, there was a person I couldn't identify in front of me. Maya's life was in terrible danger at the time. There's no way she can remember the details of the scene perfectly.
Alright then, let's go with the testimony. What did you do when you saw the red lights? That blood, was it Dahlia Hawthorne's blood?
I think so, probably, just at that moment. I heard a soft scream that seemed to be close by. It was a woman's voice.
So that's when the killer stabbed the victim from behind with a murder weapon? Is that right?
I did the wrong fucking voice there. Without a doubt, Maya was in the middle of a really dangerous situation.
Anyway, the victim was stabbed by the murder weapon. What happened after that?
Struck back? How do you know that? Well, you're right. I didn't see it exactly, but I could tell by the sounds of their breathing and movement, and also the smell of blood.
You've witnessed more horror than a young lady should ever have to in one life. So what did you do at that point?
I couldn't move. I could just barely make out the shadows moving in the dark, but I had no idea what to do.
Could you still see the red lights you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, I think so. But...
They went out?
Yeah, suddenly I couldn't see them at all.
What could it mean?
If the red lights were coming from Godo's mask and they went out right in the middle of a fight, maybe the mask was damaged? Or maybe it was knocked off?
Or maybe the batteries ran out, right, Trite? Or maybe the little red pin-looking lights just stopped working?
What could have really happened then? What do you mean by just at that moment? Do you mean the moment the red lights went out? Yes, that's right.
The scream you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice.
What? So then a scream came from the killer?
It's Godo's blood on the knife, isn't it? That's gotta be it. I think Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it.
And the killer had a scream of pain, huh?
After that, the killer stole the blade and back and delivered the final blow, I guess.
Well, Mr. Wright, it seems to make sense to me.
Sounds like a reasonable deduction, but I still wonder. I'm sorry to say this, but that interpretation would create an enormous contradiction.
That makes sense. After all, my deductions are almost certainly never correct.
Remember the testimony she gave before the killer let out a scream? Mine says she'd already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade and the staff had already been plunged into the victim. Is that right? She couldn't have struck back with a sword that was already stuck in her body. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, trite. If Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed in the back by the staff, what could she have used to strike back at the killer? Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime.
Oh, that's right! I forgot about that!
This dagger was found at the crime scene, stuck in a pine tree.
Yes, a detective found it this morning and brought it to me.
Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this, and she managed to wound him as well.
Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean he was wounded. For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have been from the victim.
Have you forgotten the blood had already been tested? Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body.
You're saying the blood on the dagger belongs to the killer?
Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood would prove beyond a shadow of a doubt. And yes, Mr. Godo, it would prove it's your blood.
Nice theory, trite. Order! Order in the court!
Is it the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test. Let me ask you something, trite. Let's just say I had turned out to be the killer. Do you really think I'd be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? What? Just think for a second. The dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There was already blood on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom.
Yes, what does that prove?
Well, if I really were the killer, I could have washed the blade and planted another person's blood on it. This can't be.
In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, trite. That blood doesn't belong to me. Not a chance.
What?
In any event, it seems to be established the killer was wounded. Alright then, witness, continue your testimony.
Wait a minute.
What's the problem?
I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation. Maya! This dagger, you said it wounded the killer? That's right. But if Mr. Godo had really been cut with a dagger, his clothes would be bloody or have a rip in them, right? Maya, maybe he just changed his clothes? That'd solve the contradiction pretty easily. What are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember back to the day of the murder? Everyone was on the inner temple side, got trapped there.
That's right. And once the bridge was fixed, the police headed for the inner temple. Mr. Godo was already there waiting for them.
He never had a chance to change his clothes.
Order! Order in the court!
Maybe he brought a change of clothes with him.
But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Or would anyone have bought a change of clothes?
The judges take smart pills during the last recess. Or maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. Oh, come on, Phoenix. That way he wouldn't get blood on him. That's impossible, Trite. You know how cold it gets up there late at night. After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen to death. So that's all you've got? I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Right now, if Mia Fey were here, she would have closed the book on this case already. If Mia Fey were here. So come on, Trite. Can you do it or not? How about it, Mr. Wright? You've accused Mr. Godo of being the killer. But can you prove it? Have we even got one piece of evidence? The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is, I have to prove it. It's the only choice I have. It was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. I can prove it. I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition just as you want it. That's good. A fight till the bitter end, Trite. Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't we go for the unlimited penalty? Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godo? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got one piece of evidence I need. Give me a break. You've got nothing, Trite. So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I'm going to think outside the box and approach from a different angle. Alright then, Mr. Wright, let's hear what you've got. There's one thing I've demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. This was proven by the blood on the dagger. But we decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he'd been cut by a dagger, there should have been a blood stain on his clothing. There's one place. One place the killer could have hidden his wound. What did you say? Hidden? This is it, my last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to think about why there's no blood stains on his clothing. I need to show how he hid his wound. It's the end of the line, the final stop, Trite. Let's hear what you've got. Where's this location where the killer hid his wound? How does any of this prove a damn thing? I don't know what you're talking about, and frankly I don't need to know. What I do know is you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Trite? Looks like you've proven one thing. You're nothing but a fake. Wait a minute, give me one more chat. I don't think so. A promise is a promise. It was fun while it lasted. See you later, Trite. Do I just present Godo's profile to represent his visor or what?
What are you doing? What are you doing? No! No, what are you doing?
Oh no. Tell me I didn't. Tell me I didn't do what I think I did. I don't know what you're talking about, and frankly I don't need to know. What I know is that you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, trite? What was that just now? Mia? It can't be. You're living on through him. Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask. During the fight, the red lights gave off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. Your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godo, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger wound under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved. Ah! Just now, I saw her spirit in you. I never liked you. 6 years ago, you helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. I could never forgive you. That's what I thought. Mr. Godo? But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could ever find in my heart to forgive was me. Yourself? I was the one who failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth, to escape from the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask and threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit. But you saved Maya. Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway. What do you mean? Are you listening, Maya? If I'd really wanted to save you, then there's one person I should have gone to and talked to right away. Who would that be? Are you talking about Nick? But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother. I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. Know why? The real reason? No, why? I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all. Huh? I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact I couldn't save Mia, nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation I knew was dangerous. Forgive me. You're wrong. You put your life on the line to save Maya. Was it really for Maya's sake? Even I'm not really sure. What do you mean by that? That night in the darkness of the garden when I saw her silhouette. A
Part of me must have known the truth. The truth it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. It could have been Misty Fay, or even that little girl. But I still picked up the blade. It's like I was dreaming. I'm not exactly sure what was going on in my mind at that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Fey? Or was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman who'd stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could it have been simply a desire for revenge? And now, I don't even know anything anymore. I did learn something today, however. I finally realized I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. Stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from me as death. Instead, you picked up where she left off, as a true defender of the people. In that one moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godo. I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando.
Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me.
Oh. Thanks. Your wound, it's bleeding. Did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears. Tears? Ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment.
Mr. Armando?
You do well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's over. This time, it really is all over, isn't it? Defendant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with a body at the scene of the crime is a serious offence in itself.
I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained that to me very clearly. I knew the risk and willingly cooperate anyway.
Very well. Before I hand down my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say?
There is one thing I'd like to say to Mr. Rat. I want to apologize to you.
Apologize to me? For what?
For the case 5 years ago, of course.
I just remembered. When you poisoned by your own lover? Not exactly, but yes, something like that. Even now, 5 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was going to do it. She was planning to kill me.
It's not all that surprising. The two of you hardly knew each other.
Huh? What do you mean?
You and my sister, you only met twice.
Huh? We only met twice?
The first time you met was on that fateful day. The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria of this courthouse. The next time you met was 8 months later. You met her again the day she stole your cold medicine. And Doug Swallow was killed.
No way, that can't be true. I mean, during our whole relationship, we were
For those 8 months, the woman you thought was Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister.
It wasn't Dahlia?
I hope one day you can forgive me, Feeny.
You mean?
That's right. I lied to you for 8 months.
But why? Why would you do such a thing?
Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because of the police investigation and their surveillance, she couldn't move about freely.
So that's why you...
My sister, from the beginning, she was prepared for the worst.
Prepared for the worst?
She thought you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice.
You mean ready to kill me, don't you?
She already had so much to answer for, I didn't want more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me the chance.
And that's why you came to me? You came to get the bottle pendant back from me in her place?
But I couldn't get you to give it back. I found it something even as simple as that. 8 months passed, I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time it ever happened.
It was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up until that day, you two were partners in crime and she would confer with you.
I think she must have noticed.
Notice what?
My feelings for you. If I'd found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever was necessary to stop her. Even if it meant her life or mine.
Iris!
After spending those 8 months by your side, my feelings towards you, they changed.
I have something to say to you too.
Yes?
You really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, I still believed in you.
Thank you.
How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? I don't even know. I'll tell you though, right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. Don't you think so, Phoenix Wright? Yeah, I think you're right. The purpose of this trial is to rule on the murder of the victim, Elise Doonim. At some point, I expect you'll be tried for your role as an accomplice in this case.
I understand, Your Honor.
Very well. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant not guilty. Court is now adjourned.